You know this guy, right? In case you don't, this is Lester Green, also known as Beetlejuice, born in Brown Hills, New Jersey, 1968, June 2nd. Didn't look that up or anything. And a lot of people laugh at him. For a second there, he was really the pinnacle of comedy, and I just don't get why.
I'll box you in the ring. How's that sound?
Of course, when you look at him, he doesn't look like your average person, but that's not who someone is. Someone is just the brain inside of them. And I think after hearing him speak for a while, you can really start to understand that he has one of the most beautiful, inquisitive minds in the entire world. And his methods may be challenged, and his methods may not be loved by all. But at the end of the day, you can laugh at him all you want, but every once in a while, he is more right than you might realize. Hey, what's going on, guys? Nips here, and today I'm going to be going over some of the countless times that Beetlejuice has been actually really right in what he was saying, and I promise, no chance I do it, I will not get sidetracked on one of his questions and make the whole video about that. But either way, before we get into all that, I want to give a huge, ginormous shout out to my friend Jack. Go subscribe to his channel, it's Pending Doom, and he made my intro, and he made my logo, and I am eternally so grateful for this. Look how good it looks. Like, I'm gonna pull it up again because it looks so nice. He's a really talented artist and filmmaker. Yeah, make sure to check out his channel. He recently dropped a short. It's all not that bad, or I might have said that wrong, but either way, it's super good, super well made. I really think you guys should check out his channel before he gets big. But yeah, let's get back into Beetlejuice.
How do you know Beetlejuice? He's a new
So
guy.
Beetlejuice really started to get big on the Howard Stern show. They had him on a lot. I don't even know if he was a part of the show or he was just a very recurring guest.
I'm Beetlejuice, baby.
That's where he really found his stride and started to make his mark on the world. And there's one segment that he did very often that I want to talk about. Fans would send him in questions.
Are you excited to answer some questions today?
Oh, sure.
What they thought was just them joking around with a little guy, but in reality, he was solving problems and he was fixing things that we just didn't know were even problems yet.
If you have 5 grapes, how many do you have?
None.
Our first question comes from Martin W., and he asks, do you think it was inevitable that the Industrial Revolution would result in vast global unemployment?
I think it is, yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because people play basketball because that's their life.
That's what they prefer to do, is play basketball.
Right.
Were they playing it in the Industrial Revolution a lot?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay. So would we stop playing basketball in order to fix the economy? Okay, so maybe just chill out on the basketball.
Probably chill out basketball.
Probably chill out on basketball. That makes sense.
Okay, so the question here was, do you think it was inevitable that the Industrial Revolution would result in mass global unemployment, right? And Beetlejuice, he thinks so, but it sounds like he thinks that there's like another way that this could go down, like it doesn't have to be like this, you know? So what he was saying was that people love basketball.
People play
right?
basketball.
Which they do, people definitely love basketball. And the lady said, would they just stop playing basketball to completely fix the economy? And he sort of agreed. You know, in the clip you can see he's like, but... And then he did end up saying yes. I like to believe that's peer pressure, because then he was like, kinda, yeah. Like, he more said he would chill out. You know, like he wouldn't completely stop. So what we're taking this to mean, and it's not a stretch, I promise you, this is exactly what Beetlejuice meant, is that, Beetlejuice thinks that sports are a giant part of the economy, which they are. Good job, Beetlejuice. You're right. That is on the nose correct. But it sounds like he thinks it could be an even bigger part of the economy. Now, wait with me here. Okay, check my notes. Okay, so what he's saying here is that sports are a giant part of the economy. And I like to believe that he was talking about all sports overall, not just basketball, because as I know, as you know, as we all know, basketball was not being played during those times that he speaks of. But clearly there were other sports going on. There was golf and tennis, and I looked those up. And they still had like a fandom, but something about, you know, going to work, whole Industrial Revolution thing made it go even harder, right? So that became a very big part of the economy. Sports are a huge part of the economy, but Beetlejuice thinks it could be a bigger part. And here's how that would happen. First things first, Beetlejuice is either president or he makes the law, I don't really care, that these players are now arrested for their crimes of taking too much money from the American people. They are paid too much, and I gotta stop touching that thing. But yeah, they're going to jail. They're going to jail for this, and that means that that money that they were making on their contracts, I'll explain who they are in a second, but that money on their contracts now goes back to the owners, sadly, back to the league and all that, and the players that have contracts that are currently going, they have to pay that money back, and if they can't, then a loan will be taken out in their name that they have to pay back, right? So this is it. They got a lot of money now. That's the whole thing that's going on, and I feel like this is the only way. Beetlejuice feels like this is the only way that sports could make an even bigger impact on the economy, because they would have this giant shot in the arm of money, and I'll explain how much money it is pretty soon. But first, who these players are, right? So on Wikipedia, I found the top 100 biggest sports contracts of all time. At first, the goal was to get all $20+ million contracts, but in the world of sports, there's a lot of those, and I couldn't track them all down. But this is every current contract that's going on in that top 100 list of contracts, and it's about 70. And here's where we start getting some variation. They're basically all from the three major American sports: the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB. So all this money is going to go to them. Okay, we're going to be fixing the American sports, because while he did say global unemployment, we're going to deal with America first. That's what Beetlejuice wants to do. We're going to respect that. And there are a few contracts there that are from like other things. I think racing, boxing, and Ronaldo, and like they're just going to lose their money too, unrelated. So yeah, this will overall create a shot in the arm for the economy so that they can invest into more things to make more jobs and make more money. And also, Beetlejuice is officially decreeing, in my opinion, that the owners have to use it on reinvesting into the sport. And for whatever reason, they got to use it all now. And I mean, maybe we'll find a way around that, but for the most point, we're going to try and use all this money right now. And it's time to reveal how much money this is in total. Of the 70 contracts, of those top 100 contracts, the total money is $16 billion. That's a lot of money. I know what you were thinking, because I was thinking it, and is this enough money to actually do anything? But $16 billion totally is, and it's going to be dispersed like that. So I didn't get the exact pie chart for the amount of money, because I don't know how to use Google Sheets enough. But based off this, we're going to give $8 million to the MLB, we're going to give $4 million to the NBA, and $8 billion to the MLB, $4 billion to the NBA, and $4 billion to the NFL. And with that money, we're going to create economy. Okay, so we're going to tackle the NFL one first, because that's kind of the worst plan I have, but it doesn't matter. $4 billion is still going to do a lot for them. And there are a lot of things that I think the NFL could do, like just literally increasing the size of the stadium so that they can house more people, because NFL stadiums are always packed. And of course, more people are going to have to work there, and but that's more of a small thing. Not $4 billion worthy, maybe $4 billion worthy, I don't know. But what we're going to do is make a brand new league. This has been done before, but it's not, I'm not talking about an affiliation league, I'm not talking about the XFL. This is a NFL-affiliated European league, and yes, this has been done before. It's called NFL Europa. I don't remember when it was, but it was a thing, and it failed, and it didn't work, and that was because they weren't making profit. Something about they just were not making money. But with this $4 billion, we'd be able to completely invest into that and make it a actual just best league possible, because that's the only thing the NFL can do at this point. They are the most profitable sports league in America, probably the world, and the only thing they can do at this point is go farther across the world to get more people playing football. It's literally called American football. everywhere but right here. So, I mean, I feel like that's their only way. And of course, I don't think $4 billion would be able to start a 16-team league with 8 teams on each division, and it's going to be called the Beetlejuice Football Europe, because we're straight to the point with it. And it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be pretty good. And the owners are going to have to, of course, invest some of their money into it. But I think some owners would be open to this idea. They haven't found them yet. I'm not talking about taking NFL owners and getting them to do it. I'm talking about just random people that are like, hey, I want to be NFL owners, like they want to open a Chick-fil-A or something. And it's going to be a lot more enticing with the fact that the NFL is going to front them so much money because they have these $4 billion to work with. I'm not doing any math to figure it out on this one at least, but that should be enough to kickstart a league in Europe again. Oh, this is Beetlejuice's tribute to the rest of the world because, as we said, these are 3 American leagues that we're working with here, and this is the only way they'll be able to give the goodness of what Beetlejuice is giving us to the rest of the NFL, or to the rest of the world. And to make this league interesting, one thing that they really should consider doing is throwing out the American model of a salary cap and just letting these owners in Europe spend whatever they want. Any amount that they want for a player, because then it's competing with the NFL for these contracts. It's competing with all these other leagues because players can actually get paid there, and that's some reason that other leagues don't really succeed. They can do their own relegation thing if they figure all that out. It doesn't matter. However they want to spin it and however they want to make it popular, cool. Just don't use our influence, just use our money. So, next up we have the NBA's $4 billion. What are they going to do with it, you know? They have a lot of great things, and I'm going to try and not bombard you with a million ideas at once, but here's what I think they could use their money for. First things first, I don't know if it's the most important, but I think it'd be really interesting, is if they have a kind of international club tournament. Like in soccer, that's a big thing, you know, like players from other leagues can play each other, or just the teams overall. But when it comes to basketball, you're only representing your country, and there's no club competition at any sort of level. So it would be interesting to add some sort of like Champions League or whatever to the NBA. Not, I guess a ton of NBA teams would make it, but I want to see like Golden State take on Barcelona. You know, I want to see the Mavericks take on the Shanghai Sharks. Like, there's things that could be done there that would also help reach that international influence. That's not really a problem with the MLB or with the NBA, because the NBA is everywhere. Everyone's playing basketball nowadays, as Beetlejuice knew, and I feel like this would just help solidify the confidence these European countries have in their league. And obviously I'm not saying that they think that they're not as good as us, but this would be their chance to prove it. I don't know, they would probably have to figure out some sort of tournament rules, but an overall cup that combines American teams, teams from Spain, teams from Russia, teams from China, and wherever else in the world they have basketball would be really interesting, and more hardware for players. I'm all for that. They'd probably have to shorten the regular season, but that's just one thing they could do. They have $4 billion. That's not going to cost that much to do, you know? The next thing the NBA should be doing is more marketing for the G League. I mean, the G League Instagram, sometimes I see it because they'll be tagged like with the team or with the NBA, and I just don't want to see it. I get it, like people only really appreciate the highest level of competition, but if you can get people to go to G League games like they go to MLB minor league games, I want to see more billboards of the G League MVP. I want to see Shane Larkin, you know, lighting up I-95 or whatever. Like, there needs to be more exposure for these players, and I get it that they're going to get it when you get to the NBA if it's that good, but it's not about the players, I guess. It's more about the league making more money and becoming more profitable. And overall, I think more basketball leagues are beneficial, so Beetlejuice would not be getting rid of the WNBA because it still has potential. It's a sports league, especially in America. You know how valuable sports teams are in America? There's a thing going going along in the MLS where teams are, or people are buying MLS teams for way more than they're really worth and way more than they're actually making. But that's because it's a sports team. That is one of the most valuable assets in the entire world. So, by just getting rid of the WNBA, that wouldn't be helping anyone. It would be maybe an immediate relief on some money that the NBA is losing, but they still have potential. The WNBA could still be popular one day. So basically what we're going to be doing with this money for MLB is making the lives better and making the working environment better for people so that there will be more people working there and there could be even more people in the league somehow. And here's how we're going to do that. First things first, we get him a chef. We get him a chef. I looked it up and it's about $80-something thousand a year that MLB teams pay for a chef. Right? So if we just literally cut that in half, because it's a season, it's like not even a full year, and then do one of those for each minor league team. I don't know if minor league teams, if the higher up, like AAA, AA, have their own chef, they really might. But when it comes to the lower ones, trust you me, they do not have their own chef. And that would go very far for them. And it would only be about $5 million per year for all 30 MLB teams to pay their minor league teams chefs, and that's for all teams, all 120, I think. And of course, the biggest thing when it comes to minor league players is pay them a sort of livable wage, at least for the season. You know, give them a chance at something. There are some minor leagues where players literally cannot make over $3,000 in a month. It is just you're not allowed. It's a rule. You're literally not allowed, and that brings us to the Save America's Pastime Act. When I was told about this, I was given no context. I was like, yeah, man, just look it up. But, oh my God, for such a sweet name, it's so evil. It literally allows MLB teams and their affiliates to pay their players less than minimum wage. This is not for a full year because they're like, hey, you're not playing. No, during the season, they are allowed to make less than minimum wage, which should be against the law. They had to make a law to make that allowed, right? So with this whole shot in the arm of money thing, just pay them to survive. It's hard to live, literally. So I mean, that's not that big, you know. It's probably just a shit ton of money, but that's what they have now because of Beetlejuice. God. And back to the smaller things for these minor league players. If the MLB just invests, say they did $5 million a year for the whole every minor league team getting a chef, if they threw another $5 million a year into getting these players gear, because they love gear, dude. Because literally, they're sometimes not making enough money to get by, so you give them like a free shirt and free hat, and they're hyped. They're really hyped about it. And some teams, there are some leagues in the real minor leagues of the MLB where some teams literally get one hat in the beginning of the year, and they're like, hey, don't lose your hat. And that's their hat. The whole year. Literally just, it's not that big. Put $5 million into giving these players a lot of gear, all the gear they could want in the whole world. Just get a whole box and let it sit there. Many of these minor league teams, of course, the major league teams, you see the custodial crew. They're doing their job. They're doing great. Minor league teams don't always have this. Another thing that they could easily get. And this is all because when it comes to baseball, they do a great job of marketing their minor league teams, and they do a great job of getting people to go to their minor league games. So by creating a better situation for the people that live and work there and play there, they're going to get more people working there. They're going to get a smoother economy going there. That is probably, I'm not sure, but that's how it works. And that's how the MLB would be able to create more jobs. Overall, the MLB was more just kind of trying to improve their working environment so that more people can work there and more people want to work there, because MLB does a great job of marketing their minor leagues. They have a great job of getting people to go to their minor league games. And no, the stadiums are not always full, but there are so many games that really makes up for it. And that's how I think they would stimulate the economy. And we got to name this law, so let's just go with Beetlejuice Saves American Sports Act. Yeah, because we're stealing their name, and it's going to be awesome. And yeah, that's how he's going to do it. That's how Beetlejuice, if this was a perfect universe where Beetlejuice became president, that's how he would get sports to make more money, stimulate the economy. And yes, these athletes are still unhappy, and they're still in prison, but they're going to be fine, dude. They're going to be fine. And I know what you're thinking. Maybe people aren't going to like sports anymore. You know, like maybe, oh no, LeBron James is out of the league. I'm done liking basketball. That could literally happen. You know, like that makes sense to happen to a lot of people. But I feel like people would still have love for the game. I feel like sports would still be popular. Maybe they would go through a little down phase, but at the end of the day, people still love sports, and this edit is going to show you why. Because Beetlejuice said so.
People play basketball because that's their life.
You gotta get back out in the world!
People do the things they love for the sake of loving.
Poetry, beauty, romance, love.
People enjoy art, people enjoy poems, people enjoy movies, people enjoy people because that's what they do.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. So it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be really
That's
hard.
what they love to do.
And we're gonna have to work at this every day, but I wanna do that because I want you. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
I can't see anything that I don't like about you.
That's what they would prefer to spend their time doing.
How much you can take and keep moving forward.
To quote from Whitman,
That's how winning is done.
Don't ask when you long, that's all.
Do or do not. There is no try.
This is going to be my time. Time to taste the fruits and let the juices drip down my chin.
No matter what happens, and no matter what changes, and no matter what hours people work, then they will always find time to do the things that they love
endless
to do.
trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish. What good amid these, oh me, oh life?
Isn't it beautiful?
That you are here. Life exists, and identity
Could make me cry. And I wonder
Yep.
if you know.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Alright, and I think that's going to be about it. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of went with a weird one, but I had a lot of fun making this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to comment down below how bad I am with finances. And I'm also validating parking in the comments, so let me know if you need that. And yeah, I'll see you next time.